All right, in this demonstration, we're going to highlight a few things, a few products and some capabilities. First off, I'll be using the HEX notebook to demonstrate Snowflake and in particular Snowpark capabilities and how customers are leveraging Snowpark to take advantage of the Snowflake platform as well as the data marketplace to enhance their data engineering efforts, which has a benefit to overall operational capabilities, in particular as it relates to enhancing machine learning, model development, etc. So a little bit about HEX. Got my notebook here, and I've got some files. To be specific, I've got one file here, which happens to contain my credentials for authenticating to Snowflake. I also have data source provisioned. I've got a Snowflake connection set up here. And as far as my environment is concerned, I have the Snowpark image set. And my compute size for processing my efforts in this notebook is currently set to extra small. Now let's get into the details here. So we'll focus on a data set from the marketplace that happens to be provided by RepRisk. And this particular data set is all about reputational risk for a number of companies, number of large companies. And this is a sample data set, not something that I've purchased, but nonetheless available on the Snowflake marketplace. So we will get to work here. So executing cell one just imports some Python libraries. The next cell goes through, reads the JSON file that I showed you earlier, and sets up a variable that I can subsequently use in code cell 3 to set up my Snowpark Session variable. So go ahead and execute that. At this point, we have a connection to Snowflake, and we can begin doing some real work. And to highlight that, what I'm going to do is take advantage of that session that I set up previously, create a new data frame, and that data frame will be representative of the data in the table, the Snowflake table that I've gotten from the Snowflake database that was provided via the Snowflake data marketplace. So we'll go ahead and set that so that we get that data frame. Similarly, we will set another data frame equal to the IDs for companies in this data set. Now that we've got those two data frames set up, and again, this is as far as the data frames are concerned, this is all resident within the Snowflake data cloud. There's not a local representation of this data. Local meaning in the context of the HEX compute environment. Snowpark is providing us this window, if you will, into the data sets, data frames that exist in the Snowflake computing cloud. And so what we're going to do now with those Snowpark data frames that we previously set up, the one for IDs, the one for metrics, we're going to go ahead and do a join, execute a join here to create yet another Snowflake resident data frame, Snowpark resident data frame. So we'll go ahead and do that. And now we've got that Snowpark, that third Snowpark resident data frame. We can go ahead and take a look at some of the data that exists there. And we see a hint of the contents that exist in that data frame. Company IDs, values representative of time, current risk rating, and so on. What we might want to do in the guise of data engineering, maybe all of these columns aren't necessary for our work. We'd like to create yet another data frame that is more representative of what we're interested in. So we'll go down to this cell and we will take advantage of our ability to specify the columns in which we're interested. So in this case, I'm going to pick, what is this, 4 or 5 columns. I'm going to create a curated data frame. Again, this is also another Snowpark data frame, simply culled down to the columns in which I'm interested. Once we've done that, we can show that as well. And here are the columns that I've elected to be resident in this new data frame. So far, all of the execution that you've witnessed has happened within the Snowflake data cloud, as in we've not pulled any data out of Snowflake and into this local compute. We're going to change that a little bit, and you've seen that we can modify features in these data sets as needed. Again, all processed and computed within the Snowflake data cloud. In the event that we needed to do so, for example, maybe we want to take advantage of some local charting capabilities, we can certainly take advantage of Snowpark's ability to create those Pandas style data frames, as we'll do in this cell. Go ahead and run that. And no need to convert those columns, so I'll skip that particular cell here, and we can have a look at the contents of that local data frame. And here's a sample of what that data frame represents. And we can also take advantage of Snowpark's ability, and I'm kind of skipping backwards here. Moving back into Snowpark, we have the ability to write that curated data frame, the one where we pulled out the columns in which we were interested. We can write that curated data frame back to Snowflake. And in this case, I'm going to give the new table the name temp curated table. And if it already exists, we're going to go ahead and overwrite that. All right. That cell has finished executing, and we've got a table now resident on Snowflake. I can prove that to you. Go back home, go to data, go to my databases. We'll go into DemoDB, the demo schema, take a look at tables, and there you see we've got that temp curated table that we just wrote and a preview of its contents. Moving back to HEX, we can now switch back to that local data frame that we created a couple cells earlier and do things like go ahead and take advantage of graphing capabilities and create a nice chart based on the information contained in that data frame. You may also notice that I'm writing that image that represents the chart back to a local file. And here, if I take a look at my HEX files, I see that that image is now available for me to do whatever I'd like to do with it. Copy the file name, download it, or delete it, which I'll go ahead and do now. All right, and that's about it. In this demonstration, we've shown you a little bit about the HEX notebook and its capabilities. We've demonstrated Snowflake and the Snowpark API for taking advantage of information available in the Snowflake marketplace, Snowflake data marketplace. And we've gone through a bit of a data engineering effort here. A data set in the marketplace representative of the ESG reputational risk for companies. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching, and you'll see us in the next one.